So good evening, my TOP, and welcome to the first Monday of our February basic trainings. I'm really excited to be heading up Mondays. There are 4 Mondays in February, and it may be great for you guys to just get an idea of how we've mapped out those four Mondays. So tonight we're going to talk about the power of edification. Then I'm going to take the second and the third Mondays, and we're going to talk about the personality types in business and how to identify them. And so the plan is to break it up and do 2 the second Monday, do 2 the third Monday. And then what I want to do on the fourth Monday, because all of this, the personality types and the edification, all tie in together. And so we're going to go back and implement the information that we've gathered from the personality types to incorporate it into the edification process. So for tonight, the goal is to get a clear understanding of what edification is. 2, to embrace the purpose and power of edification for our business, and to become boss edifiers, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm first going to ask you guys, because I know some people, this is a training that has been done before. Mr. Brown has done some incredible training on edification, but it's also, I know we have a lot of new teammates, and, you know, as my pastor always says, you know, first time you hear something, you know, the seed is being planted. The second time, third time, maybe even up to the 20th time, it's being watered. And then it may be that 21st time or somewhere in between where, you know, you finally get it. It hits you in a different way. And so we know that the fundamentals, basic training, you do those drills over and over and over again until it just becomes, you know, it just becomes second nature. So I'm going to start by, you know, what is edification? Aside from, I mean, if we look at the dictionary, edification is the act of edifying someone, someplace, or something. And so what does it mean to edify someone or something? What would you guys say is a definition or something that's synonymous with edifying?
Highlighting something or an accomplishment that someone has made. Absolutely.
It's one. Anybody else?
Praising them.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of. Yeah, way of praising them for things that they achieved.
Absolutely. And so basically what it means to edify is, you know, some other words you can uplift, you enlighten, you inform. Basically, you're building and you're establishing something, right? Okay, now I'm going to put out a disclaimer, because in network marketing, we've learned a couple of things. One is that network marketing is an adult game of follow the leader or copycat, but you just got to make sure that you're copying or following the right cat, right? And Stanissia has taught us, you know, it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. So if somebody's already invented something, don't spin your wheels and waste your time trying to invent it. So as I got online and as I was putting together this training for tonight, there's a lot online available about edification. A lot of people have done it. And so I found something that I felt was great because, one, it was an animation, so I had to do a little bit of just sort of screenshotting the slides that I really wanted to use. But some of us are visual learners, some of us audible, some of us take notes. So for those who learn better by writing, I hope you're taking notes, and others learn by just doing. And so I say this to say that I did not come up with this, but I'm going to use this slideshow. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to use, okay, now where the heck is it now? Because it was here. See, this is how this always works, doesn't it? All right, hold on one second. Let me find it because it was absolutely here a minute ago. Hold on. That's that. Let me see if I can get to the other window. And just do it like this. Okay, and play the slideshow. Here we go. Always a way out. Okay, so now when we talk about edification, right? Edification is absolutely the act of building something up, right? It's a building thing. And so when we talk about this is not something that's new. Here's a way that we can think about edifying is this. So say you got 2 friends. that you really want to get to like each other. So say for instance, I have Dion and I have Miss Jackie, right? And I want them to like each other. So what do? Really what I do is I'll share all the things that I think are great about each and every one of them to each other. And by saying those great things about them to each other, it creates an instant opportunity for connection and a level of respect. Now, the great thing about edifying, and I know sometimes we get a little nervous when people say, oh, I got to edify. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? But the reality is that we naturally do it all the time. When we enthusiastically are sharing what we love about our favorite restaurant, about a great hair salon, or a hairstylist, or even a good website we can go to get wristbands for our business, right? We are edifying. So now when we edify in our business, we want to do it with a purpose. If we just, casually introduce someone, like if I said, hey, Jackie, there's Dion, and that's it, then the relationship is starting on weak ground, right? So the better we edify one another, there's a more powerful, the more powerful that new relationship has the potential to be. And this is something that successful people do all the time, right? So now, in our business, edification is helpful anytime we're making an introduction. And when we're talking with our prospects in preparation for a three-way call, or we're at a presentation, properly edifying the speaker will set them up as our experts and give your friend or whoever you're introducing them to added reason to pay attention and receive the information. Without it, your friend might not appreciate the speaker's credibility, and they could miss the message that we're trying to send all the time. There are also times when we're having a team or a company training event that we want to edify our business partners and our teammates to one another so that we help them to also establish a strong relationship. Now, after we learn about the personality types and we revisit edification, we will be even more strategic with the words and phrases we use in this process. But here's a simple format we can start with. Pick 1 to 3 things about the person's achievement and 1 to 3 things about something that you really appreciate about them, right? I'm tempted to have y'all do this right now, right? I really am tempted to have y'all do this right now. So let me see something, how I can get out of here. Let me go back to, I guess I'll do this. If I escape this and I go back to not sharing my screen, back to the meeting, I think that's this little button right here. And I'm waiting for something to happen, but ain't nothing happening. Okay, guys, we're gonna have some technical difficulties here, I see. Let me go back here. All right. And stop screen share. There we go. So anybody up to doing a edification for one of their teammates on the line? So we just want you to find 3 things, 3 things that you can say about their accomplishments and 3 things that you appreciate about them. If y'all too shy and y'all want to save that for another time, I'll click back to the screen share and work through that one.
What was the second set of 3 things we had to have?
So first set of 3 things are 3 things that they've accomplished. And then the other is 3 things that you appreciate about them.
I'll go.
Okay.
So I want to edify Jeanette. All right. And Jeanette is a successful entrepreneur. She has entrepreneurial experience in various businesses. Mm-hmm. She is an accomplished person on her job, okay, mm-hmm. Independently on her job, and she has accomplished completing a rank within the company. Okay. And what was the other 3 things?
3 things that you appreciate about her.
Okay, the things that I appreciate about Jeanette are that she always finds time to listen and mm-hmm. to with me when I call her. All right. She is an expert okay, when it comes to educating the customer about, the products.
Mm-hmm.
And she shares selflessly.
There you go. That's how you do it. And Shanette, you're going to be really popular, because now I'm going to switch back to this screen share thing, although this is not working out the way it's supposed to work. But I'm just going to do it this way anyway, because it just doesn't want to be. That thing was there the whole time I was doing this earlier, but it disappeared. So now we're going to get back to the PowerPoint. Here we go. Let's see if I can make this work. Okay, so now those were the three things. Now, what you need to remember in edification, you should always be truthful and honest. You never want to exaggerate or make anything up, because people will see through it. If they met the person you edified and you have not been honest, it really does not take them long to figure it out. And then you will have lost any credibility that you were trying to build. The truth is, we can always find something positive about one of our teammates, right? And so those are the three things. And so now here, on an additional note, it's always more powerful when you use their first and last name. And here's an example. And that's why I said, Shanette, I guess you was the name that everybody was going to pick today. But I said, I want you to meet my good friend, Shanette Beasley. She's an amazing leader and educator. She's having success in business, and she's helping a lot of people. What I love about Shanette is that she is so humble, full of knowledge, and is an amazing wife and mother. It really is that simple. And Tanya did it. I just gave you an example. It really is that simple. So even if you've never met Shanette, don't you have a little higher level of respect for her and some insight to who she is as a person? That's the whole purpose of the edification, and it's magical. And you've seen people, when you've edified them, you've watched their face light up when they hear you say those wonderful things about them, right? So now the important thing is, if you are edifying a speaker at a training event or to an audience, it's always really good to wait until the end to say their name, even if the crowd knows who you were talking about and who you're about to bring up. Not mentioning their names creates a major suspense. So you'd edify, right? And say, everyone, please help me welcome Shanette Beasley. Woo, here she goes, right? That's how it works. And so now this is the edification triangle. And I like these couple of slides because it provided a clear visual for the purpose of the edification process. This is where it really gets to be fun, because when you and your team all know how to edify and someone's being introduced to you, you'll know what to expect. But be sure to wait with a smile for the edification introduction. When they're done, right? So this would be you. This is, I guess, Johnny. We'll say Johnny, right? And this is Johnny's friend, Cindy. And there's a trust between Johnny and Cindy, but Johnny needs to get her to his expert, right? And so he is going to pass that edification ball to the expert, right? And in doing that, that allows for Cindy to gain that respect and credibility. And now what then the expert does, and even if, you don't know them very well, the person who, you may not know them very well, you can simply say, you came with the right person, or you are so lucky you came, they thought enough of you to bring you into this process, and you are coming with a great person. And so you pass that edification ball right back to them, right? So now, hold on, let me get it. So now what we have to be careful of, though, in all honesty, is, and this is something that Mr. Brown talked about when he was doing the training, and he was talking about, no matter who the person you're bringing in, you never edify that person over your expert. And I think he might have used the example, like, if it was Oprah or if it was Barack Obama, then that would be really hard, y'all, I ain't gonna lie. But you need to make sure that they do not get over, they're not over edified from your expert. And so you want to make sure that you're setting it up so that the friend, remember, the goal is to have your friend want to listen to and actually hear the inspired information, right? And the other thing, lastly, almost, it's critical to stay humble and grounded, right? So as we are, you know, especially when it comes, if someone is edifying us, we don't want to let it get to our heads, especially when it's coming from someone we admire. The words that they share are sincere, and we should allow it to empower us in a healthy way, right? Because it's edification to a purpose. And so we have to remember that. What's so special about Inspire and particularly our culture on TOP is that we treat each other with respect while keeping our egos in check. So we don't want that to go to our head and blow us up, right? We want to make sure, we want to understand that when we're getting edified, it is coming from a sincere place, and we want it to do its job, right? So we want to let the air out of our head, and we want to make sure that we're practicing, right? When we edify each other, we're ensuring that the message being delivered is actually being heard. And that's what this is about. The edification process is just to make sure that we are putting the right people in front of the right people to make sure that the information, whether it's just about the now we know, again, it may not be someone who wants to join our business. It may be somebody who wants to know more about the product. There's ways to edify around that too. This is pretty much focused on people who might be interested in the opportunity, but we also want to know that edifying to our customers is putting somebody who has a product testimony in front of them that speaks to an issue that they're having. So what we have to do now, guys, is we just have to practice and apply the edification techniques in our daily lives, and when we do that, our business will thrive. And the best part of all of this is when you are a type of person that is great at edifying other people, making other people feel good, then people are going to be drawn to you, right? And at the end of the day, network marketing, I mean, Diana says it all the time. It's a relationship business. It's about building relationships. So I am going to stop the screen share because that was actually my last slide. And then I'm going to get back to the meeting. And now I want to know, does anybody have any questions at all? No questions, no questions. Oh, so it's no questions. So that must mean some people are ready to practice this edification thing. Because here's what I want you guys to think about. Okay, maybe we'll make this a homework assignment, right? This week, identify at least 3 people, right? 3 people in your organization, because it's always great to be able to edify up, right, to maybe your sponsor or maybe your sponsor's sponsor. It's always great to be able to edify across your team, right? And you should always be able to edify somebody that you sponsored into the business, right? Because especially if they're using you, right, to edify you, they're using you as an expert. Part of being that expert is you got to be able to toss that edification ball back to them. And so over the course of this week, practice on identify 3 members of the team in some sort of way, either up, across, or and I hate saying down, in your success line, and edify, write out edification. It could be 3 things, 1 to 3 things. It could be a little bit more. And when we start to talk about the personality types, you'll understand what some of those things that you can key in on that will be appropriate for the person that you're prospecting. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'll give you an idea. Like if you're dealing with somebody who really is mission driven, right? I mean, we're all mission driven, but I mean, they just want to help people. Then you want to make sure that you're putting in front of them somebody who speaks their language, who is really intent about helping people, and so that you can use those keywords, and we'll go over a few of them over the course of the next 2 Mondays that will resonate with them. Because again, it's about making that connection, building that trust and that respect. So guys, there's no need to prolong it. If any, again, I'll give you guys an opportunity because my 30 or some odd minutes on up and Zoom is not throwing me off yet. So if you have any questions or any comments or anything else that we can do to help, that, you know, or that can help the team, if you have anything to contribute to this, then that would be great. What is the importance of tapping into all the different personalities? Okay, well, the importance, and that's what we're going to talk about, is that it's like this. So if I was I'll take it to something simple. If I was edifying a restaurant, right, and say it was like a restaurant that specialized in barbecue ribs, I probably should not be trying to edify that particular restaurant with someone who does not eat meat. It's not going to resonate with them, right? When we talk about, I'll just give a little bit in terms of, like I said, if there's somebody who is interested, who could care less, I don't want to say care less, but they're not motivated by money. So the first thing out of my mouth should not be, you know, introducing them to somebody who I want to know about the money. I'm all about the money, because it's not going to create that connection. Whenever you're doing anything, whenever you're trying to create any kind of community, sometimes people need to know that there are people like them in that community. And so that's the importance of having that person be someone that they can respect, but also someone that they see a little bit of themselves in. Does that make sense? Okay, are we identify 3 people in your, thank you, Latifa, for writing that down. Are we using 3 to 6 attributes to edify the person? Yeah, I mean, the simple formula is 3 and 3. But, you know, if you have more to say, you don't want to go too over the top, because then people are like, is this person really real? And they may sort of shut it down before they even get a chance to meet the person. But if you can find 3 things, or 3 to 4 things, because if you've listened to Mr. Brown's training, it's usually 4 things that people will hit, because they don't know in a general audience. If they're introducing somebody to a big crowd, you're going to have a crowd full of those 4 different personality types. And so they endeavor to hit all of them. So you'll get the one that, you know, they know 100% of the facts. They love helping people. They know how to make money, you know, and they love having fun. Because those are basically the 4 major personality types. That's the shark, the whale, the dolphin, and the urchin, right? Or red, blue, green, and yellow, right? So those are the way those hit them. But when and that you should consider when you're dealing with a large audience and you're trying to be sort of that chameleon, sort of, so to speak, with everyone. But when it's somebody you know, and I know, like I can say, like, Shanette, she's sort of an urchin. She's kind of a balance of a lot of things, because she's an urchin. She's going to get those facts. She's going to do that research. She's going to know. She is all about helping people. And yep, making money ain't never hurt nobody. I know that. So you would try to hit all 3 of those when you're dealing with someone like Shanette, someone who could speak to that. And I'm going to tell you, we are very fortunate. Our team is made up of such an incredible group of people. We hit every mark. And so there is always somebody on this team that you can use when you find a prospect that fits any of those 4 characteristics. And know that those 4 characteristics, and I'm getting into the next 2 weeks, but those 4 characteristics, you never really, people are very rarely just one. At some point, you're a balance of maybe 2, 3, sometimes even 4 of them. And so that's where the part of, and we'll talk about this, the radical listening, so that you can hear, you get those keywords of what you can listen for that tells you what that person is, who that person is as you're meeting them, and also who you are. Because it's very important to know who you are, right? Because if I'm real urchin oriented, and Mr. Iverson talked about this today in that call about seeing things through your own lens and your own experience, then I could really cut myself off from the opportunity of connecting with people who don't necessarily see things the way I see them. And so that's another piece, is know thyself, and know where either you need to balance yourself off, or you need to make sure that you have enough people around you to balance you off, right? Because a whole team of sharks, I don't know how much fun that's going to be, y'all. You know, there has to be balance. So again, all right, son, I didn't catch the illustration. Thank you again. Well, I'm really gonna download this because I think I can. I figured out how to do it. I'm gonna upload the training into the group so that you'll be able to watch it again. But I appreciate your time. I appreciate, I know we got a lot of calls tonight. We got the vision casting call at 8 o'clock, which seems to be, the lineup is really, I wanna hear from that gentleman. His name is blanking on me, but I know he's really doing a lot, and I'm sure we can learn a lot from him. We have our 9 o'clock corporate training call. And so, and then we, you know, we'll get into our regular call rotations. I am excited for tomorrow. I'm not quite sure who's up on Tuesday, but we have a full week ahead. I know Shanette is up on Wednesday. I know that Tanya is back up on Thursday, and then I believe Dean is on Friday, and we have our Saturday morning. I think maybe Hasina is doing that. So guys, let's keep plugging in. Let's keep getting these basics down because it will make us stronger as a team. Congratulations to all the Eagles fans. I was rooting for y'all real hard. I'm not necessarily an Eagle fan, but I am definitely an anti-Patriot. So I hope you guys were safe, had a good time. And I know a lot of y'all are going to that parade on Thursday, so be safe. And TOP, we're going to take it to the top. All right? Yes. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you, Stacy.
Okay, sweetie. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome, Stacy.
Thank you, Stacy.
I appreciate y'all all.